We're joined now by Marc Short, the former chief of staff to the vice president. Thanks so much for joining us once again, Marc.
Linsey, thanks for having me on.
So we'll get to those topics in a moment, but first, ABC News has learned that last week you appeared before a federal grand jury investigating the January 6th attack. That would make you the highest-ranking Trump White House official known to have appeared before the grand jury. Is there anything that you can tell us about that and your decision to testify?
Well, I was subpoenaed by a grand jury, and I complied with that subpoena. But upon the advice of my legal counsel, I really can't comment further than that.
And so just one more, if you don't mind, just indulging me, just asking, did investigators ever ask specifically about President Trump's actions during your testimony?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of the testimony.
Understood. We will move on. Let's go back to the January 6th hearings. Last week, we heard that dramatic audio from the Secret Service detailing protecting former Vice President Pence. You were with him that day. Just give us a sense of your view on how the committee has presented evidence of the potential danger that the former vice president faced on that day. Would you say that they've painted an accurate picture?
Well, I think that having the Capitol ransacked the way that it was, I think did present liability and danger, and I think the Secret Service did a phenomenal job that day. I think that the bigger risk, and despite the way perhaps it was characterized in the hearings last week, candidly, is that if the mob had gotten closer to the vice president, I do think there would have been a massacre in the Capitol that day. I'm not so sure the Secret Service's lives were those in danger, though. I think that likely there would have been a lot of other lives lost that day. And I think that there were a lot of challenges that were posed by Secret Service who obviously did not anticipate the Capitol being breached. And it's been reported wanted to evacuate the vice president off the property, but he refused. And so that created extra challenges. And, you know, candidly, they just did an amazing job that day in protecting not just him, his family, but the staff that was around him as well.
At what point or how close to a point did you ever come to feeling like your life was in jeopardy?
You know, I don't know that I did. I really felt that being surrounded by very large Secret Service agents with weapons was a very comforting position to be in, and I think that that they had us in control, and they told us where to go, and I think that once we were evacuated to a secure location at the bottom of the Capitol, again, there was a clean route out, but the vice president said that's the last thing I want the world to see is a 15-car motorcade fleeing from the hallmark of democracy. And so we're going to stay right here. But they were able to keep us secure there. And I think it's been reported the vice president was very eager to continue to work with congressional leadership and Capitol Police and saying, when can we get back in? It's important that we finish the work of the American people tonight.
And turning now to the midterms, we've seen Trump and Pence on opposing sides in some of these key primary races, including this weekend in Arizona, where they held dueling events. What message is the vice president trying to send by endorsing candidates who are opposed to the former president?
Well, I don't think he's looking to find candidates opposed to the former president. In fact, he's probably aligned more often than not. But I do think that Vice President Pence is looking to find the conservative candidate. And I think that Brian Kemp has a traditional record in Georgia that has reduced taxes, that has returned surplus money to the taxpayers of Georgia, that helped to fight to protect life in Georgia. And he's done so many great things as a conservative. And in Arizona, you know, candidly, I just think that the president has been very poorly advised, because it's hard to believe that the person who would be the successor to the MAGA crown in Arizona is somebody who was hosting drag queen parties, community organizing for Barack Obama, funding abortion through Planned Parenthood, and even likely voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. It's really hard to think that is the successor. And so I think that Mike Pence is saying, look, let's make sure we're putting forward conservative candidates. And I think that the president got really bad advice from whoever's encouraging him to support Kari Lake in Arizona, because certainly she's not a conservative and arguably is not even a Republican.
I know we're still a way off from the 2024 election, though it will be here before you know it. If former President Trump does decide to run again, do you think that that's going to suck all the oxygen out of the room? Do you still see an opening for other candidates like Vice President Mike Pence to oppose him?
I don't know. I think it's too early to say. There's no doubt that President Trump continues to enjoy a widespread support among Republicans in our party. It's a long way to go between now and then, and I don't know where we're going to be at that point. I think our focus should be on the midterms. I think Republicans have an exciting opportunity to reclaim Congress this cycle, and I think that as well we can pick up several new state capitals and governors. And so I think that's where our focus is. I think there's a long way to play out before 2024.
You know, I imagine that you really have to kind of thread the needle with this question, but I'm curious your take as far as if the former president still has too much of a hold on the Republican Party, regardless of the outcome of the January 6th investigation.
You know, I wouldn't say he's got too much hold. I think that the former president has an important voice, but I don't think that that means that he's the only voice. And I think that there will be others who are looking to make sure that they're contributing to the conversation and debate as well. And it's a free country, and I think you'll see that there are others who look to step forward. But like I said, for now, I think our focus needs to be on November 22 before we look at November 24.
Marc Short, always appreciate you joining us on the show and look forward to your insight.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.